Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Comic Chronicles. The final episode of Harley Quinn's 5th season is finally out, and a ton of stuff goes down in this season finale. We got some hilarious moments, wild twists, the final fates of the villains are revealed, and even Superman makes a comeback. A lot went down, so let's jump right into another recap followed by a detailed review, so stick around. The people of Metropolis are totally split between supporters of the bottle and the deniers. Things get chaotic when Lena decides to cover the bottle with a black cloth, plunging the entire city into darkness. Now, Metropolis is a lawless land filled with cannibals and vandals, and everyone is in panic mode. Meanwhile, on the Skull ship, Lex and Lena Luthor are bickering about the ship's decor, while Harley Quinn tries to pit them against each other by suggesting they rename the city to Lenalopolis, whereas Lex obviously prefers Lexlopolis. As they argue, Ivy attempts to reconcile with Frankette so she'll help break the bottle for their escape, which isn't easy since Frankette thinks Ivy abandoned her. When Ivy realizes that trying to make amends isn't working, Sharon suggests the opposite, that Ivy deny her love, which gets Frankette mad and makes her start banging her head against the glass. But Ivy stops provoking her when she sees Frankette hurting her forehead and decides to switch tactics because, according to Ivy, none of this was ever Frankette's problem. So Ivy diverts the little plant's attention to play with Lex's Ferrorama. Fortunately, Frankette pushes the bottle just enough so that part of it sticks out from the table. Everyone inside the bottle, except Brainiac, starts jumping on that part to tip it over and break it. Sharon calls Brainiac to help break the glass, but he refuses, saying it'll create a huge mess. But to Brainiac's surprise, Sharon explains that mess is the whole point and that life is one big mess. Brainiac is stunned to realize that all this time he's been trying to be perfect, but the messiness is important. This completely shifts his perspective on the world, and he joins in helping jump on the bottle. Meanwhile, Lena makes the extreme decision to set the ship on a collision course with Kalu to force Lex to apologize. When the bottle crashes to the ground, the two siblings chase after Harley, Ivy, Sharon, and Brainiac, who are trying to escape for their lives. Brainiac asks for help to reach the shrinking ray, and Ivy uses a leaf that fell from Frankette to create vines to help Brainiac get to the weapon. He shrinks Lex and Lena, returning the others to their normal size, but not before Ivy and Harley give the two siblings a good beatdown. They toss them onto the Ferrorama tracks, and soon they're devoured by Frankette, who's just been playing around there. After that, the countdown to the ship's collision is ticking down quickly, and someone needs to stop it. However, with his new outlook, Brainiac refuses to cancel the collision because the mess is important, so he decides not to intervene. Harley tries to convince him otherwise, reminding him that Brainiac enjoyed the musical, telling him he should act like the Brainiac from the show and stop the crash. But he's skeptical since he doesn't know how the musical ends. It was interrupted by Frank's death. To be sure Harley's telling the truth, he demands to talk to Bane, the playwright, to confirm what really happens. If that's how it goes down, he promises to stop the crash, otherwise, he won't lift a finger to help. Bane tells him the true ending is tragic, and he disconnects because he ruined everything. Even with Harley, Clayface, and whoever else was in the Daily Planet trying to drop hints for Bane to lie and say he'd stop the crash, Bane doesn't get any of the subtleties. Knowing this, Brainiac takes a seat in his ship and waits for the end, having a vision of Coco, his son, and his wife, where he has his final moments trying to fix his relationship with them, realizing the importance of not always being perfect. In this vision, his family convinces him to help Harley and the others because humans can't live in memories like he can. Then Brainiac tells Harley that there's an escape pod they can use. Immediately, Harley, Ivy, Sharon, and Frankette rush to the pod, taking with them several bottled cities, including Metropolis. As soon as they escape with the pod, Brainiac bids farewell, and the Skull ship collides with Kalu. Now Sharon wonders who she'll live with since Harley's dad is gone, and she didn't have a shot with Brainiac. Hearing this, Harley doesn't hesitate to invite her mom to live with her, Frankette, and Ivy, who clearly isn't fond of the idea but doesn't say anything. With the collision, debris heads toward the pod, and Harley tries to steer clear, but there's too much, and it hits the pod's hull, causing oxygen to leak out. When they're almost out of breath, Frankette manages to create some oxygen bubbles, and Ivy makes vines to plug the hole in the hull, giving them a little more time. But things spiral out of control again when Frankette can't generate oxygen anymore, and the pod is hit hard until it completely breaks apart, leaving them gasping for air in space. However, at the last second, Superman shows up, blows a massive air bubble, and swoops them back to Earth. A week later, everyone's doing great and throwing a party at Harley and Ivy's new apartment in Gotham, which is now right next to Metropolis, thanks to Superman. The two watch everyone having a blast and realize they have everything they need right where they are. Guys, if you're into Harley Quinn and all things DC, this is the perfect spot for you. Make sure to smash that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. There's so much cool stuff coming out this year from both DC and Marvel, and we're covering it all right here on the channel. Subscribe to stay updated on DC and Marvel news and new releases, and we also do recaps, reviews, in-depth analyses of every release, theories, character origins, and so much more involving animations, movies, shows, and comics. Thank you so much, and let's dive into the review of this episode. So, yeah, folks, we've reached the end of another season of Harley Quinn. To be honest, after this finale, there's not much left for the show to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Harley Quinn doesn't get renewed for a sixth season. They wrapped up the show satisfactorily, at least in my opinion. Of course, the episode has its share of plot holes, like how, out of nowhere, Clayface takes his true form on the Daily Planet, and absolutely no one seems to care about what happened to Perry White. In fact, we never find out what happened to him because the animation didn't show his fate. Not that it's a massive plot hole, but it's worth mentioning the detail involving Perry White and Clayface. Another loose end was the fate of the bottled cities. They ended up just sitting in the corner of Harley and Ivy's apartment, and that's that. We won't know what happens to them next. Still, those details I just mentioned aren't majorly significant to the season's overall story, so I think they got left out just due to time constraints because, when you think about it, this episode ties up as many loose ends as possible. I really liked this episode. It was a great finale and even predictable, but even being predictable, it's still satisfying for me. As of the time of this video's release, the show hasn't been renewed for a sixth season, so unfortunately for fans of this animation, its future is uncertain. But speaking a bit more about the end of this season, I want to highlight how cool it was seeing the character arc involving Superman unfold. The first episode cracks a lot of jokes about Supes, even sending him on vacation, but still, it respects the mythology surrounding more than 85 years of the character, and the season ends with Superman saving everyone because, after all, he's the only one who could save the day in that situation. Having Superman show up at the climax of the episode to save the day also gives a sense of respect to the character, who is the greatest superhero of all time. So, I really appreciated everything around Superman and Metropolis. I almost forgot, the scene with Lex and Lena getting devoured by Frankette was pretty hilarious, and who would have thought that would be Lex Luthor's fate in Harley Quinn? Even if they renew for a sixth season, I doubt they'll bring Lex and Lena back in any form. And looking back, several villains from Batman's Rogues Gallery really met their end throughout the show, so I believe this truly was the end for Lex, Lena, and even Brainiac. The fact that Metropolis was relocated next to Gotham also serves as a nod to other adaptations that put the two cities pretty close together, like Batman vs Superman and even the Lego games. But now I want to know your thoughts. Did you enjoy this Harley Quinn episode? What did you think of the fifth season? What was your favorite part of this episode? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your opinion. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell because I'm already preparing more Harley Quinn videos and other DC content that you don't want to miss out on. Also, consider supporting our work through the thanks button next to the like and subscribe buttons, which are showing up on your phone. That way, you contribute to our work so we can keep investing here on the channel, delivering more quality videos with the best stories, increasingly precise analyses, and keeping you updated on any superhero news. Huge thanks for all the support you give us. I'll leave you with a video recommendation if you enjoyed this Harley Quinn video. I'm sure you'll like this one too. And to catch everything that happened this season of Harley Quinn, click on this playlist on your screen to see all the details and Easter eggs. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.